Hey, what's up guys, John here, where the world is distracted by one breaking story after the next, whether it be Israel and Hamas.
Israel has formally declared war after that unprecedented multi-pronged terror attack from Hamas.
Or Russia and Ukraine, or OpenAI and Sam Altman.
Sam Altman is out as CEO of OpenAI.
Or the new president of Argentina.
Argentina's fiercely polarized presidential election is over. Populist Javier Milei came out ahead.
It's one big story, one breaking story right after the next. You have to ask yourself, when in history has this ever happened? You go back to 2018, 2019, you would hear maybe one of these stories every year, right? One of these big stories happen every year. Now it's every other week, a big story, maybe even every week, a big story is coming out. You have to ask yourself, is this a massive distraction? Is there something much, much, much bigger happening behind the scenes that's going to get slowly ushered in, that's going to change our lives entirely, which will be way bigger of an impact than any of these stories ever could be? Is that possible? Well, I think so. And in this video, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to share with you what I'm learning about central bank digital currencies, some of these massive advancements, and just how fast this is moving. I mean, you've got 130 countries representing 98% of global GDP now exploring a central bank digital currency. Think about that, 98% of global GDP, 130 countries. This is just the beginning. Look at what the Dutch central banks are doing. Look at what's happening in Argentina. Look at what's going on in America, and you'll see things very, very clearly. You'll see exactly how fast this future is moving at us. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. And today's video is sponsored by Patriot Gold Group, and more on that in just a little bit. Take a look at this. So, Bank of America came out 5 days ago, 6 days ago, and they said CBDC is unlikely in the near term. What is near term? Does near term mean 2 years, a year, 5 years? Because in March of 2024, which is about 6-7 months away, right, that's going to mark a 4-year anniversary since all of this insanity started, right? So 3 to 5 years is not that far away. What they go on to say is the Federal Reserve continues to pilot a central bank digital currency, but will not issue one without executive branch and congressional support, the report said. Central bank digital currencies are coming, but a digital dollar is unlikely in the near term, Bank of America said in a report on Monday. Central banks representing 67% of countries around the world and 98% of global gross domestic product are exploring, and 33% of them in advanced stages, the report said. The CBDC is a digital currency that is issued by the government and is normally a tokenized form of the country's fiat currency. The Federal Reserve continues to pilot central bank digital currencies, but is not committed to a CBDC and will not issue one without executive branch and congressional support. CBDC benefits and risk depend on the design and issuance approach. Now that's the concerning, very concerning word here, design, because they can design it to do whatever they want it to do. Maybe reduce meat consumption, maybe reduce air travel, maybe reduce gasoline purchases, maybe reduce, businesses from getting funding that issue heavy emissions. There could be a variety of design mechanisms and tools that are integrated into this central bank digital currency. The U.S. debt crisis could ignite a long-term rally in gold. Since March of 2020, we've added $8 trillion in debt, and gold is up a whopping 50%. Now with the Fed raising rates, our interest payments alone are over $1 trillion annually. The BRICS nations met last month, and Saudi Arabia and the UAE joined Russia, China, and India. And another credit rating agency, S&P, has downgraded multiple U.S. regional banks on liquidity worries. 51% of Americans cannot pay their credit card bills, which just surpassed $1 trillion for the first time in history. If this is Bidenomics, increased spending and regulation means it's only going to get worse. Buying gold and silver is the most trusted strategy when you do not trust elected officials in office in Washington, D.C. having your best interest at heart. Call the proud Americans at the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention @This is John Williams and you'll always get the best in-class service by Patriots for Patriots. Patriot Gold Group has a no-fee-for-life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold and silver. And you may be eligible for a no-fee-for-life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Call 888-341-2896 for a free investor's guide today. Patriot Gold Group is a Consumer Affairs top-rated IRA gold dealer 7 years in a row. Call 888-341-2896. But we expect CBDCs to provide a more efficient and less cost payment system for cross-border and domestic payments, a tool for monetary policy implementation, and improve financial inclusion. One of the big buzzwords right there. But let's look at what the head, this lady here, the head of the IMF, she is the managing director, right? Managing director, she says, this is not the time to turn back. The public sector should keep preparing to deploy central bank digital currencies and related payment platforms in the future. Referring to a 2018 speech, and this thing's been going on for a while, right? This is the perfect moment to slide this right in. When the former IMF chief encouraged policymakers to follow the winds of change and explore the use of CBDCs. 5 years on, I'm here to provide an update on that voyage. First, countries did set sail. Many are investigating in CBDCs and are developing regulation to guide digital money developments. On Wednesday, the fund launched a CBDC handbook and is a reference guide for policymakers around the world. Georgieva said many countries are investigating in CBDCs and developing regulation to guide digital money developments. You have to ask yourself, well, what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen? You're going to start seeing more and more countries realizing that the coming couple of years is going to be very inflationary. A lot of money is going to be printed. The value of the dollar is going to fall. People are going to demand government assistance, and this is the perfect time to say, hey, we can issue you stimulus in the form of a central bank digital currency, right? When you look at what Dutch central banks are doing, they're saying that they're prepared for a new gold standard. You look at what China is doing. They're buying tons of gold. Look at India. Look at all these countries. They're accumulating tons and tons of gold, especially over the last couple of years. Why? Why are they doing this? Well, it's quite obvious why they're doing this. Dutch central bank admits it is prepared for a new gold standard in a recent interview. The Dutch central bank shares it has equalized its gold reserve relative to GDP to other countries in the Eurozone and outside of Europe. This has been a political decision. If there is a financial crisis, the gold price will skyrocket. That's speculative. We'll see, right? We'll see. Sure, it could. Everything could. But you have to really look at this. You have to look at everything, with a, pulling yourself back and look at everything with an open lens, right? What is actually going to happen here? I think what we're going to start to see is I believe we're going to see a chain of events unfold, like this gentleman here. This gentleman, everyone, the rock star politician, Javier, he's saying, he's the new president of Argentina. He is saying that, they want to get rid of central banks and they want to, basically, take care of the people. You have to ask yourself, is this actually going to happen? Is this, is he going to be someone that's going to come save the day? Maybe he could. Everybody loves to have hope. Everyone loves to, hope that there's going to be somebody that's going to come save the day. But I believe there's going to be more false prophets and more false, people like this that are going to, claim to be there for the people than are actually there for the people. He might be a really good guy. He might, or he could be a part of the club and me and you aren't. And that's something that we should just consider, right? It's very, very possible that is in fact, that is something that could be true, right? So when we look at all these developments, advancements, you have to ask yourself, where is money going to flow? How is this going to impact Americans? How is it going to impact people around the world? I believe as central bank digital currencies start to come out, there will be a flow of capital into other assets, possibly real estate, possibly gold and silver, possibly crypto, possibly land. There's going to be a lot of capital flowing outside of dollars. I would bet, I would imagine, as we start to see this, and we start to see more and more countries begin to de-dollarize, right? It's pretty crazy how fast this thing's moving. Central bank digital currency developments enter the next phase. Many of the world's monetary authorities are seeking more guidance, and this came out yesterday, right? This is IMF blog. It says central bank digital currencies can improve payment systems as well as financial inclusion if they are appropriately designed. Again, keyword, designed. If not, they could pose risk. While not all countries may see immediate case to deploy a central bank digital currency, many countries are exploring CBDCs so they will have the option to introduce one in the future if it becomes pertinent for them. Benefits are more likely to come in time following policies pursued by countries and the private sector's response, as well as the evolution of technology. In most cases, it would be useful for countries to continue exploring CBDCs carefully and systematically, as IMF Managing Director noted in a recent speech in Singapore. The Bahamas, Jamaica, and Nigeria have already introduced CBDCs in more than 100 countries in the exploration stage. Central banks in Brazil, China, and Euro area, India, and the United Kingdom are at the forefront. The IMF recently launched a virtual CBDC virtual handbook to collect and share knowledge of policymakers around the world and to serve as a basis for the IMF's engagement with country authorities. We intend this to be a living document that will be updated and expanded as our body of knowledge and analysis grows and our new lessons and insights emerge from countries. And they have this entire playbook showing how they're going to implement it. You know, their role in promoting financial inclusion. You know, this is for you. You know, this is for me. This is for the people. This is about us, right? Helping us, right? You start to look at this and you ask yourself, how is this actually going to play out? Well, I believe what we're going to start to see here is I don't think it's going to happen overnight. What I think is going to happen is we're going to start seeing more and more and more of a demand for government assistance. That's what's going to happen. I mean, you have a situation where 82 cities in America are already issuing, you know, pilot programs on universal basic income, right? I mean, this is substantial. You're already starting to see this, and there was only 11 cities, by the way, in 2021. So it went from 11 to 82 cities in the course of 2 years. You're going to start seeing more and more and more of a demand. And as that demand begins to ramp up, central bank digital currencies will likely continue to flow in as a great solution. Some people, I believe, are going to love this. They're going to think it's an amazing, amazing benefit. And they're going to feel, you know, entitled to be able to, you know, get some of that free money. But at the end of the day, I don't think anything is free. I think, you know, the old saying is true. If something is free, you're the product, right? That's what I think is very likely going to happen here. I think we're going to start to see this thing unfold over the next couple of years. I think it's going to be pretty shocking and dystopian to look at what the world will look like in the next 5, 6, 7 years. Because we're walking into something very, very, very big with a lot of chaos in between. Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. Crazy times, crazy times. And for more information on Patriot Gold Group, you can find that info in the description of this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.